Hi, and thank you. Welcome. Thank you for looking at this, being interested and to see what is going on here in Florida. I'm living in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm going to have a workshop in Old Town, Florida, about an hour west on November 3rd, which is a Friday, and that's going to go all the way to the next Friday. But you'll arrive on the Friday and then you can leave Saturday. It's a camping event, and um, and it's my family's property. I put a Facebook event out, and it has everything, like the skeleton basically of the workshop there. And for this meeting, I'm going to read through it just to keep myself on track, and then I'll open it up to questions and answers. We will discuss ticketing and ways to attend, ways to contribute, and um, just so you know, I've been posting. We had a meeting over a week ago, and we did a Aircrete mix, and we have a video that's edited that is also in the description at the bottom of the Facebook event. After this, I'm going to consolidate all of the information into as we go along and compress it down so that all the information stays together and available to share and to not have to repeat every time. And that's, one of the things about having a group is
Group knowledge.
yeah, group knowledge. I'm at my friend Randy's house, and he's helping me through having Wi-Fi so that we don't have a bad connection here. And because of all of my friends and support, I'm able to even be here doing this right now. Um, as So you're coming along with me step by step in developing a model uh, of making a workshop and doing a build together. So I'm working out all the kinks, and it's not just me, of course, because I went to a Dome Gaia workshop. The previous video has more of my story in it, but I'll be less about that here. Um, and there's Tiny Giant Lifestyle, who actually might, he was out of Texas. He might be stopping. I just got an email not too long ago saying that their last workshop is going to be in October, possibly. There's folks in Australia called Sacred Domes. I posted it in the Facebook page for FlowSource, and they're cranking it out. They even have permitting and stuff like that taken care of with engineers. And if you go to their Facebook page, you can see a lot of the amazing work they've been doing. And I reached out to them, and they're really supportive, as I did with Aircrete Harry, and there's other people out there in this community that are getting uh, more. The community is helping each other grow in the field. The technology is getting better through all this experimentation and all these workshops and all these minds coming together. Uh, what seems like a silly thing to do is all of a sudden becoming like maybe the way we're going to build in the future. And and for many reasons, maybe you do know already, or maybe you don't know. And that's why I like having these meetings, because I'm not sure what you want to know and what you do know. And I only know so much that I can offer. But what I can offer is that I'm making really good aircrete, and I understand the building process of the domes. Now, any of the technical design features, because I have some drafting experience, and I understand, you know, the need to plan and calculate certain things. I'm going to be offering drawings and how to do designs to scale, and how I came up with the numbers that I have. But the numbers that I do have are still what I think it might be. And doing this build is going to let me know if my estimates are going well, because I don't have anybody else uh, that I'm, comparing notes with. It's like, oh, how big, how much concrete do I need? how much cement do I need for a 6 radius dome with an arch that's yay big, and, and foundation, this is all up to being creative, depending on what materials are at hand. So you might be able to figure out something different. But this is what's going to work for this build. And because it's bare bones, like a foundation and a structure, I, you know, would love to process plumbing, electrical, uh, air conditioning, all that kind of comforts of a real home. But for this build, my intention is to basically make a glorified tent so that I have a place to live on the property that I may add on to. So I think however this goes, I may be opening up part of it and then extending that into something bigger where then I can have more utilities and understand how I can do water catchment or however I'm going to, whether I'm going to be off grid or partially on grid or all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go to the page description of the workshop and just read it along, because um, it'll generate whatever questions you might have at the end, and then we can have a discussion. So I'll just read it right off. Personal experience is the greatest teacher. Many of you are curious and like the idea of aircrete as a building material for the following reasons. And these are the following reasons that I think of off the top of my head. It has the general attributes of concrete. So it's fireproof, it's not toxic, it's resistant to mold, decay, and insects, and other things. It lowers the cost by expanding the material, uh, lightweight, and it's easy to shape. Appeals to building dome, egg, and arch structures. It's a natural material. Most people can do it with little to zero building experience. But for the rest of us who have experience with aircrete and the like, some of us want to keep doing it and sharing the adventure of building something with a group. Um, and there's something that tells us this is viable because we've done it, and we know that there's more to discover. But the first step and part of the wall that I see when I talk to people about doing it is they really need to get their hands on it. They need to work with it and see it being made and feel it and lay the block and put on the cement and stand on it and be the judge. It's hard to relate otherwise. So I'll continue. Um, I basically after this, and it's also because I have a lot of requests for doing aircrete. People that know me for a long time, they're like, well, when you get that going, let me know. So this is me catching up to other people being interested in wanting to do stuff. So I plan to have a crew, to have a community that have been interested in building in this area specifically, but as even places now that I'm doing this, it's reaching other people. They're of interest in other parts of the world. So I really don't know where it might go. And it would be great for this one, for you to jump on now.
Well, that's one of the other awesome things. It's universally available, so it can be used all over with the universally available materials.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the ticketing and pricing. So just brief overview, the location, 535. Well, oh, just a slight interruption.
You're good. Sorry.
535 Northeast 230 Avenue, Old Town, Florida. It's going to be 11/3 to 11/11. General information. This is my family's land. My mother and father live in the main house with their dog, Raider. So this time, no pets are allowed. It's not really good with other animals. This is a 5-acre lot surrounded by woods and a few neighbors. For campers, so basically, my parents will be in their house and stuff like that. But for everybody attending, the campers, there's plenty of hot water, electricity, bathhouse, outside kitchen, dining area, fire pit, um, for you to use. The main house will be off limits. Let's see. So the daily workshop schedule, this is basically how it will unfold in my mind so far. A lot of these things may shift around as I develop things or I get feedback based on what is requested to learn. The daily schedule is 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. We'll take a break at 12 for about an hour, let's say. We may take a trip to the Swanee River. It's only 10-minute drive to get to the landing. So it'd be nice, to take a break in the middle of it all at some point. So the Workship schedule, there will be an opening and closing circle every day. On Friday, you'll arrive, set up camp, and basically when you're checking in, we'll have waivers to sign to make sure we're all squared away to start Saturday morning. So first thing Saturday morning, I'm going to do a tool talk and risk management. First of all, then we're going to make Aircerete right away, and then go over the Aircerete form work and discuss the foundation. Saturday, Sunday, I want to do as much as I can that's preliminary for people that can only make it for the weekend. I think this, will be a value that even if you are there just for the weekend, which seems more likely that you can't take a whole week off, that there's going to be a lot packed into just doing everything right away this weekend. And then the week is going to be really building. So on Sunday, I'm going to go over my drafting design and how to draft a design to scale, cut and stack blocks from the previous making of Aircerete. Then we'll make more Aircerete. We're going to construct a compass and an arch form. If we have more time, or if we need some of this more prepared before the workshop starts, I'm trying to make sure that you guys have the hands-on experience and build it with us to have that gratification. But certain elements I'm going to want to prepare ahead of time for
Practical.
repetition and practical and so let's see. Monday.
Focus on.
Yes. So Monday, planning. We're going to talk about planning, like your material and your labor. Formulas, different ways of mixing Aircerete with proportions, and also the mortar and the glue formulas. We're going to cut and stack blocks again, because every day, most of the time, we're still going to be making Aircerete, although a lot of blocks will be already prepared for the construction. And I want to start laying the blocks on Monday. So that would be exciting. We're gonna have, and then so it's a Tuesday. I have cut and stack blocks again, then make more Aircerete. Then we'll go over the mixing station, and then lay more blocks. Wednesday, we'll go over the foam machine, and then laying more blocks. I think by this time, we won't be making more Aircerete, possibly. We'll see. Then we'll go over like how we're going to rasp and shape the building and apply fabric, the polyester construction fabric that is responsible for its tensile strength and outer shell. Okay. Thursday, we're going to talk about natural building and sealing and finishing processes. We're not going to seal or finish it in this build, but we're going to talk about it. Then we'll lay blocks again. And then on Friday, we'll hopefully be at finishing. And maybe we'll be there by Thursday. I don't know. Finishing, cleanup, and debrief. Saturday, 11/11, make a wish. Please take your time packing, and happy trails to you. So anticipated topics of interest, things that I think you might be interested in and that I've, you know, thought were kind of adjacent topics to go over. Like I said earlier, plumbing, electric, heating, cooling, interior walls, building codes. What's the variability of aircrete? Subjects like bioarchitecture, permaculture, art, geometry. I'm asking you to add anything that you are interested in about this, and put that in either the event or in the chat in the Zoom meeting. I want to make this for you because I know what I know and I have plenty of time to research. I want you to look at it as use me as I want, you know, I'm basically with getting people enrolled now is giving me time to prepare as much as I can, and we can have a discussion along the way to the opening day about um, all the arrangements and the meal plan and stuff like that. So let's go into that. So we are on a well on the property. So bring drinking water. We don't drink it. We used to, but now, right, and we don't have enough filtration to supply for everybody. So the ticket price does not include food, but you will have an option of adding on a meal plan when you're purchasing the ticket. This will ensure that food and water will be provided for you. You can specify if you eat meat or not, and the menu will be created with consideration of participants' preferences. So I love cooking and, you know, I make a lot of things and I know how to do a lot of things. So I really will make it a conversation. When I see people getting the add-ons and see what their preferences are, we'll talk about it. And I think we can, you know, do a lot.
Yeah, it's a nice space.
Yeah, yeah. So there's an outside kitchen. So we'll be using that. And if you don't have the meal plan, you're welcome to use all these accommodations. There's an outside kitchen, dining area, grills, and a fire pit. Propane stoves, electric skillet, and cookware are available. You'll be expecting to clean up after yourself using the outside sink. And so if you have any reservations about anything, you know, just reach out. That's if you're not, of course, this is why I like having the Zoom meetings, just because we can actually talk about it right now.
Yeah.
You know, and
You sent pictures of the spot too. So
yeah, so I have pictures that I was going to share, and actually, let me unmute all of you and see if anything's come up so far, because I think I've been talking enough.
would it be fair to say your goal is to do as much of legwork on your own to get as many people ready to the refined experience you've created with continuing a refining process, but like you're trying to make it, trying to collectively get it as refined as possible and share it that way to help each other refine it to a perfect
Right,
situation.
right. Like basically saying that most of the people that I have expected to show up for this, we've been in conversation for a longer time.
Yeah.
So so yeah. Anybody have any questions or things they want to add?
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. So with the workshop, with the building or with the making of the aircrete and then going into the actual construction of the dome, my curiosity lies in the product itself, but I have a lot of curiosity in the construction aspect of it. So you're saying if I come up with some ideas and thoughts that I have questions about, just to go ahead and shoot that on over to you, and then you could give me an idea of how that might work, some of the visions I would have in my head about what a person could do with that aircrete and the geometry of building out further. Okay.
Yeah, and that's part of this process that I've been consulting or getting these questions, people asking me all these questions, and that's part of the reason to do this is to get out as much as that I know, and I continue to do that. So you're welcome to call me with all those questions as I've been doing. The idea is that at the workshop, a lot of the information is going to be there.
Right.
But I will do as much now, or off this Zoom meeting.
Right. I mean, okay. I'm
Quick question and answers, like if you had any other, something that I could specifically answer, I'd be happy to. Was there anything specific? Dinesh?
Oh, is Felicity? I don't know who was speaking last. Are they done?
I don't know.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
finished. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I don't, maybe she didn't hear me ask, but yes, go ahead, Dinesh. Good to see you.
Yes. So I had a question, like, because I remember we were doing something in Sacred Grounds over in Jungle Prada. Is this something similar? And was that project ever? What happened to that project? I'm still wondering
Oh,
about
it's so
that.
great that you were there. It is similar, but this is going to work.
So what happened with that project?
Yeah, but I talked about it on the last meeting,
Oh.
and right now, and this is part of what's interesting of how to be continued and part of the history. And you're actually even reminding me that you came and you had a couple friends, right? I recall you having a couple friends also. And what happened
That's
was,
correct. A couple of us came, Matt, Erica,
right.
and others. Yes.
And so this is what sent me on, okay, I have to go and understand why this didn't work. And I'm not going to start doing it again until I have it figured out, because I thought I had it for sure. And there was a lot of location issues, like things that happened on that particular site, electric issues. First of all, we were mixing, and sometimes a breaker would blow, and so we wouldn't have the foam machine or the compressor. And there were just things that it was hard to have time to troubleshoot, because I set it for a specific amount of time to do this workshop. I literally ran out of time. But we had already poured a foundation at Sacred Lands that's still there and has a pile of Aircerete blocks on it today that are okay, but they're not nice. It's like not what I would brag about, let's say. It still may be usable. And I spoke with the host, the owner of that property recently. It's still possible that we could get back there and do it, because I would like to recover what has happened. It's a beautiful place. It's Sacred Lands in St. Pete. It's an Indian burial ground. They do weddings and events and touring. I still perform there for Tribal Burn twice a year. So it's close to where I grew up. It's where I used to fish as a kid at times. But yeah.
Unfamiliar problems in an unfamiliar space.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you're available when that happens.
Yeah, please keep me posted. I would love to. I'd love to support with you.
Thank you. Yeah, do you have any ideas of being able to come up for this?
This, I don't believe so. I'd have to make preparations with work and everything, and I've already taken some time off for traveling. So, but I do. I mean, but the Sacred Grounds, and if things come up, like I would definitely be open to it. But I just wanted to see what this is about, because I definitely love what you're about, and wanted to support it.
Thank you. Thank you. You being here is great support. It's just good to see you.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Joe, you have a question?
Did you say Joe?
Yes.
Yeah,
Or want to
you were
chat?
talking about you were laying block down at Sacred Lands at on a foundation. Will you already have the foundation poured up in Old Town, or is that something that we'll be doing there at the event?
Great question, because I'm debating based on the time schedule if I want to include that, because that wasn't included when I did the workshop, and it's a major part of the build is, of course, the foundation. And I think anything that I do that it's not conventional, like if I try to do an Aircrete foundation in some kind of combination with regular cement, which is probably what I would do, um, it would still be an experiment other than just pouring a legit, slab. And what I want to do just to save cost and to see what the outcome could be is that I'm going to do a ring foundation. And so the foundation is just going to be basically a footer that supports the base of the dome. And I have
Okay,
a
that makes
visual of
sense.
that. Yeah, and then I'm going to fill it in. I'm not sure how yet, but I thought, then you could, I don't know, you can do pavers. Maybe I would pour Aircrete in the middle and then tile over it, or paver over it, or pour more cement over it. Let's do a share and go ahead. I'm going to share a photo. Okay, so this is the ring foundation. It's a top view foundation. That's why it says top foundation. So we're going to have a 6-foot radius on the interior. So that's a 8-inch ring thick, 8 inches thick. The block will be laid on the outer edge of that. And so will the arch. So it's open at the bottom where the archway will be, with the entrance. And that's the simplest. That you don't have to go through too much. It should be I'm going to do it 8 inches deep. And either I'm going to see how to bend the rebar, or maybe opt into using fibers. I'm open to suggestions there. And I'll share the other drawing of the actual dome. So this is a front elevation. And the line going across is the ground level, or whatever the assumed ground level is. And then you have the foundation below that line. And I'm doing an egg. And there's a specific reason I'm doing that, as opposed to a dome. And because I don't think a lot of places teach egg shape. So it should be an interesting, there might be some limitations is why. And I'm still kind of working that out, but I think it's possible. We have as a 6-foot radius on the interior, you can calculate how high it's going to go after you draw it, basically. So it looks about 10 foot on the interior, and it hits almost 11 feet. I used the actual, how they describe the way to draw an egg shape, literally. And so what I found out interesting about this drawing is at the top of the egg, it's thicker. And I thought maybe that's not an accident. And maybe that has something to do with the durability of the egg. I don't know. And then the archway at the top is like 8, up at 8. So this is kind of nice with the egg shape, because we don't have any protruding out from the foundation. The equator is at the base. And so your walls and ceiling go up right away. And so for a smaller radius, you can have a higher ceiling clearance, and therefore your archway can even be higher, so that there's no ducking under or anything. And there's other reasons why I'm thinking of egg too, after researching into bioarchitecture. And going more into the significance of shape and living structures, natural building. Any more come up, Joe?
No, I'll just say this is the first time I've participated in a Zoom call, so I don't. So if I'm either talking and not supposed to be, or I'm not talking, and I'm you got to bear with me on this. But it looks real. I will say this: it looks really exciting to me. I haven't. I mean, I've been a part of many a concrete project, but I've never seen an egg shape. I've never seen any of this as far as your foundation ideas. I think either I'm not sure. I'd have to ask around to know if anybody's doing, because I've been out of it for a little while since I was injured, but I don't know of any. I'm all better now, but but as far as foundations, everything I've always known is there's going to be rebar in your footer. But I don't know if they're doing it that way anymore. Things change, it's been since 2016 since I've been involved in anything. So, and you're not talking about so much weight on something like this. So, you know what I mean? It's a lot less weight. So maybe it could support it without without any rebar. I don't know, but I'm excited to be a part of it. This is all a formality for me. I'm plan to be there if it goes off.
Yeah, Joe, I'm really glad you're on the call because I remember you being a concrete guy, and that is what excites me, is that wasn't never my forte. So I've been learning more and more about concrete just because of Aircrete. And most people, yeah, you mix it, you throw it in, and it works, right? But when you start making it yourself and you start, there's a lot of things to consider that I know I'm a long way off from being an expert, but it's the pulling in of people that do have this knowledge that I'm really excited about, especially engineers and different people that can, it's like maybe they don't know what else to do with their knowledge and they're just bored. I can imagine that. Like even like engineers and stuff, it's like, maybe there's someone out there that really would like to make something, to do something different, to be creative. This is my idea, is that flow source is a creative, educational, fun thing to do. And when we're done working, I'm really looking forward to hanging out and playing some music and making a fire. And I think it's just going to be a good time all around.
Yeah, it's fun out there.
Yeah,
So
it
thanks.
sounds really good. I don't know if you can hear me. Am I?
Yeah,
Can
I
you
hear
me
you
right now?
perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's another thing I was wondering is, so you're going to work all day and then you're going to cook for everybody and play guitar at the fire?
Right. These are the weird, amazing things that can happen.
Good cook, real good cook.
Yeah, well, I was besides the support that I have in general, that I will think maybe will be there. I know my mom's there thinking in her head, and and my dad, and I'm sure they're excited to be a part of it. I don't want to give them too much to do, but they can't help themselves sometimes. And I used to lead crew, and this is why I know it's possible, because I used to lead a trail crew in Colorado about 20 years ago, for about 4 years, and it was basically me and a crew of 10 living in the mountains doing trail work, and we had to budget, and cook for ourselves, and it was kind of a rotation thing. Maybe that's something we could do, but other than that, planning the meals and then prepping them to where, I think it wouldn't be too much of a challenge. It would be a
Yeah,
fun
I hope I
challenge
didn't.
to do. Yeah.
I hope I didn't come off wrong on that. I oftentimes kind of overestimate what I can actually do in a day, and so
Yeah.
and I kind of we've talked a lot on the phone, and I feel like I know you a little better than I probably do. So maybe that's the way.
Yeah. Well, one thing about that is that there's definitely a similarity between people that like Aircrete or are drawn into it.
Sure.
the way they talk, the way we talk for hours. And-
Well, I think part of it is that exchange, it's like, imagine, the engineer's excited to get as much like, different perspectives on building from an artist or from, someone who's coming from a different, background. Than the artist or the other person is about getting the engineering. So, that's exciting to everybody to see what you're used to in different ways.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
Very sad.
the crossroads of everyone's collaborative efforts, and yeah, it's great. I think it's gonna be great. Anybody else? Because I was gonna then, or if Joe, if you have more, or if
Nope,
anyone
I'm all
else is,
done. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Because I think that brings up things like meal plan um and the announcement. I already set up the ticketing, so if you had gone onto the website flowsource.org and clicked Aircrete Workship, it'll take you right to where you can buy your tickets. I'm setting it up in 3 tiers, and it really benefits me for people to act now. So I'm gonna, that's why this Zoom is so important. So I have this to send to people so that they, of course, I can quickly post with just typing and whatnot. But the opportunity for people to understand what's going on right now, and this whole like trying to get people together thing and build a team, and so for the first week from today to a week from now, the workshop tickets are $300, and that's just, to me, will never happen again. Probably, I don't know. Because of the nature of how I'm building this and why I'm building this, I'm willing to say that that is the break even price. That and it's a lot of incentive for me to get on board and know exactly how much we need to prepare. I'm going to be doing this anyway, like I've been doing this whole time. And these are moments of me growing and inviting people along for the ride. I would love for everybody to be able to show up. Everybody meaning, I'm thinking around 10 people. If it gets to be more than that, we're going to have to think of something. And I want to create another option for people that want to contribute and provide, but can't make it, but still want to get like the video or a live Zoom link so that they can jump in on certain aspects of the workshop at a nominal fee. But after the 2 weeks, it's going to go up to $400. And then I'm going to hold that at $400 for another 2 weeks. And then after that, it's going to be $500 until, so that's October 23rd, I believe, it would change to 500. And then on November 3rd will be the day to arrive. So depending on how many people turn up or turn out to be able to make it, and I'm giving you a great opportunity right away to get a low price, and the tickets are transferable, and and then if there's only a few people, then it might change what the workshop will be. But I'm still going to do it at the extent that I'm going to build a place to stay on our property. So if there's 4 or 5 people, it's just what can we get done with that amount of people, and with the capital that creates. But with materials and my time and energy, yeah, 300 is a guess. It kind of is like a minimum guess. Like I think it'll get us, and the meal plan is $100. So that's basically $10 a day. Well, more than that.
Yeah, how many days?
Well, it's about 7. It's like bookended with the arriving there and then the departure day. So
766.
Haven't,
Or they're not.
760,
No.
okay. Well, you get it. With that much, we can have some really good meals. And so, yeah, that's it. And, I'm just, yeah, there's really not much more to say about it. I'm just really excited to do it and to connect with more people and give them the news. And if you have any more questions, people that are here, otherwise I'll be continuing to answer questions off here and online.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so given the fact that I, because of my current, what I'm doing in my life, would not be able to be there for the entirety of the time, but would want to contribute and would want to pop in whenever I could, given all the traveling I'm currently doing. So you are going to have something on your website that will have that option to donate toward the cause and then be able to sort of pop in and.
That's in the works, yes. I mean, anybody is welcome to leave whenever they have to, like, and or stay longer if you're, want to see the completion and we're not there yet. So, but I think this size is completable in that amount of time, which would be a fun feat. But yes, it'll be in the future, not too far. Like I'm trying to go as fast as I can to create options for people. So, and maybe with those other questions you have, we can, work that out and see what that looks like. So there's other things that might be helpful because, where am I going? And if you look at Old Town, you might not think it's any place in particular because there's barely anything in Old Town. So I'm going to show you some pictures of Old Town. First, and this is our property. So to the left, you have the dining area, and there's a couple like park benches there. And then behind that is the kitchen and cooking area. In the middle, next to there, is the fire pit. And to the right is all the wood. And we have plenty of wood thanks to Idalia. And I'll put up another picture to see the other structures. Yeah, just being able to offer this with camping is, there's another picture of the dining area, and just to the left, that's the bathhouse. And behind there is the main house where my parents live. So I'm gonna throw on another one now.
Is everyone seeing them? Because I'm not.
I could see, hey,
Can you see it now? I just put up the bathhouse.
I can see.
Okay, well, you go in that door and you have a regular bathroom.
Nice,
There's
very nice.
there's a regular sized bathtub, toilet, sink, hot water. It's just like a regular bathroom.
Yeah, it's actually one of the nicest.
It's one of the nicest camping
It's
bathrooms.
really.
Let's do another one. Let's see. What else do we want to see? I bet you want to see where it's going to be built. Let's see if that's next. Well, let's do a picture of Raider. Just so you know, this is Raider. He's a quirky dog. Relatively sweet. Oh, and I also have where the camping spots are, and then we'll do where the build will be. So this is, I couldn't capture all of it, but this general area, there's my car to the right, but all of that area, and there's other spots that it could be, but this is the biggest area where camping is available. So you can see where you might pitch a tent, or, you can sleep in your car. If you have a pop-up or an RV or whatever, we'll have to talk about it and see what
Bring a ground tarp.
Bring a ground tarp, yes. Yes, we'll definitely making lists of, you know, make sure you bring X, Y, and Z. And then let me
Sorry,
share one photo real quick. I'm almost finished. I'm gonna do one more photo of the build site. Is right here. I've already bent some EMT metal, and then I have the center post in there with a 2x4 that I started marking where the level is in the ground. But I really haven't done much there. I do have a bender. It's a Harbor Freight bender, and we didn't plan to do any round forms or windows or anything of that, but I would love to bring it and go through bending the metal and making those forms. When we make the arch form, we won't use a bender, so that'll be a different approach to making an arch form. And I heard somebody.
yeah, Jeremiah, sorry. Hi. I was cooking dinner, so one more time your website, please, so I can look this up.
Okay, it's flowsource.org, FLOWSOURCE.org, ORG.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's nothing there really. I mean, there's a gist, kind of an essence of what we are, but I really want to get people offline. I've made it so minuscule because I want you to not spend any time on my website or on any of my pages. I want you
It's
to,
good.
you know, contact me, interact with us. You know, this is a real thing with real people in real time.
No, that's cool. Rare things.
Right. Okay. Anybody else? Because those were basically the pictures. Anybody have any requests or questions?
I knew you said you weren't gonna do it this time, but can you do windows and stuff?
We can do windows.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's interesting. You make a round form, so that's when you would be bending. I mean, there's many ways to make a circle,
Sure.
you know, but in this technique, you're bending EMT tubing and then making cross arms and then covering that with like a utility, very thin plywood.
Okay.
And then if you make a donut, basically two forms, one that's smaller than the other,
Mhm.
and then you would line that with the fabric before you pour the aircrete into it.
Sure.
And then when you remove the forms, the aircrete is already in the fabric,
Gotcha.
in the cylinder. Now it's a cylinder.
Gotcha.
And you simply cut a hole wherever you want. That's the same diameter, and carry the cylinder and slide it in horizontally.
Very cool.
And so that creates your jam basically, because you know when you have a dome, your walls are curving,
Sure.
so you have a thicker area to cover from the base of the window to the top of the window.
Gotcha.
And there's other ways to do that, you know, but some people just like the nostalgia of the keeping the arch shape,
Sure.
you know, and keeping it all round and whatnot. Yeah, so you
Nothing
can do
special
windows
about it. It's better.
and even doorway. You know, Dome Guy had this thing, no straight lines, you know, let's make an arch doorway that spins in the hinges in the middle is a revolving door.
Yeah.
You know, and it was very interesting constructing a door jamb out of cement that was
Yeah, that's wild.
that was
See a
one
pretty wide door.
unidirectional. But I have photos of it, and
Anybody get caught in it?
no.
What a
You never know.
question.
And people get caught in revolving doors at like, hotel. I could, doesn't
Yeah.
take much. People are silly.
I'm having 80s movie flashbacks.
Exactly.
Anybody else would like to jump in, say some stuff, chat about anything?
I'm good.
Any questions? How about next time?
Comments on this, how'd this go? What do you
Yeah,
think?
just stay tuned for a follow-up.